I pray to God to give me the energy we need to keep Jamaica and our people firm and strong. Stand up, labor rights. Stand up for justice. Stand up for truth. Labor rights are proud of their party.
In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. Jamaica, nobody fuss, no, nobody fight. We did a for the labor right. No shaky boat because a woman will like. We did a for the labor right. The river come down green, it's so pretty and bright. We did a for the labor right. Doing me love shower in a green, me baptized. We did a for the labor right. Right now me nah worry about visa, cause we have one of the greatest leader. Me nah run way, go a foreign like Triple X and go beef crab leg out a freezer. Bout ya fit on green like Tracina. I we say no wage freeze for the teachers. We have the prettiest women like Anne-Marie Vaz and sexy Venetia. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. Oh no, see center, my servant center. Catching up, St. James parameter. Our doctors in a fi use garbage bag. Yo, dance your ball like you're not member. No blessings that flow like river. Every bad prayer return to sender. Dr. Cole and Blair teeth drop out from when PMP never buy them no denture. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we shall have a victory.
Good evening, Liberates, and good evening to all other comebacks watching this channel. Welcome to another episode of Political Hard Talk. I am your host, none other than the greatest Laborite alive. Good evening, my people. Good evening. Now, we're going to talk about the two dunces people them in Jamaica, my people. We're going to talk about Diane Jackson Miller, who is a big dunce, and her leader, Mark Jefferson Golding, who is even a bigger dunce. The two of them, one is dunce number one and the other is dunce number two. However, before we get into that, we're going to roll out the evening shout outs, my people. See? So let's get into it. Melody, good evening. Big up yourself. Big up yourself, you know, my sister. Positive Jamaica, big up yourself. Annette, big up yourself. UN, big up yourself. A. Hutchinson, big up. Jacqueline Chambers, big up. Jacqueline Thomas, big up yourself. Keishan, big up yourself. All is well. Rick, big up yourself, my boy. Dahlia, big up yourself. Ivy, big up. Winford, big up yourself. Monica, big up. Good evening. There's 47 of us thus far. The live will grow, my people. 52 of us now. The live will grow. As you enter the live, please give the live a thumbs up. See? So, let's get into the meat of the matter, my people. So, the PNP, who should be out today, looking after their constituents, had found time to idle. You know, they found time to have press conference to try and disrespect our government. And I am calling on the government to lock up the PNP, lock up Mark Golding, lock up his entire shadow cabinet, and lock up Diane Jackson Miller. We're tired of it. We're tired. We're tired of the stupidness and the foolishness. See? Nobody's stopping Mark Golding from rendering aid to anybody in Jamaica. See? Yes, I did. Denzel. See? Or Denzel. She's alright. She's okay. Nobody is stopping the PNP from rendering aid anywhere in Jamaica. Why can't the PNP just go away, like Cliff Hughes said? I'm tired of them, so tell me people, I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them right now. Me out for disappear for all that, so you know how I'm tired of PNP. I saw me tired of them, you know. I'm tired. Uno soon I see me because I have gone, but I can't take it to deal with PNP no longer. You hear me? I tell you. Anyway, let's get into the first clip of the evening, my people. You know, listen to the idiot. The one that Don's number 3. You know, listen to the one.
The devastation has been extremely great in northeastern St. Elizabeth. And as a member of parliament, I have reached out to the government for assistance in getting persons who are marooned access so that they can actually leave their communities or enter elsewhere. I have been told by the government that as a member of parliament, I cannot engage with private contractors to have their roads cleared or to have their roads put in a place where they can leave or enter their community. And so I have been faced with a difficult decision where I have to choose. I obey the rules as they currently stand, in which case it means that residents will be left stranded and trapped and unable to leave, even in cases of emergency. People will not be able to have access to food, water, or I make the other difficult decision, which is to go against the government's dictates and actually engage contractors to put together the roadway as best as possible so that access can be had. I have chosen the latter. And so I hope and I pray that the government will actually make some allocation available to members of parliament in the affected constituencies. I am calling on the government to include the members of parliament, to engage with us, and very importantly, to empower us to...
Oh, so that is what it is, to engage with us. Who the hell are you guys? You guys are opposition. The government has made Jamaica as a national disaster zone. Who has responsibility for disaster? Is it the opposition? Why don't you guys step aside and allow the government to lead? That is why they are there. They are the government. You are in opposition. Go and look after your constituency. Why are you in a press conference crying, woo, 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 you want this, you want that? The government is busy looking after the people and the people's business. Go away, Zulika Jess. Go away, Dean Jackson Miller. Go away, Mark Golding. And all of the PNP uno go to hell. We're tired of uno. Uno hear me I tell you? We, the Jamaican people, are tired of you guys. We don't want to hear nothing from uno. We know say I cry and I cry wolf. And we know say political. We are not idiot and all of we done. So we can't fool it. Done PNP them. But the rest of we can't fool we. Jack Nell, big up yourself, you know. Mama win some good evening.
The people who are depending on us because they don't have the numbers for the government ministers, they have the numbers for their members of parliament, and they're reaching out and begging and crying out for help. I'm asking that.
Didn't the PNP launch relief efforts in Westmoreland yesterday? Did we not see that on the news yesterday? Did I not come here and speak about that last night? So if the PNP launched relief effort last night in Westmoreland, why are they here bawling and crying and complaining? Eh? Should they launch relief effort in every other parish that is affected? They launch here Westmoreland. This is a St. Elizabeth member of parliament crying. Why not they not launch something that's of a sheet? Eh? The next one we name Nikisha Burchell from Douglas South St. James. Me see her pious a ball cry crocodile tears. Me say me never see a set of people that me despise, so me not like none of them. None of them me not like. You know why? Because children can't get their hand on the government things them. If you go distribute, if you get no political credit from it. So you burn them. And that happen, I say in Jamaica. And that happen. But we soon get into the old Bucky Swamp spot. You don't worry.
Consider making an allocation particularly to the members of parliament in the deeply affected communities, constituencies, where it's not just a case of clearing the roadways, it's a case of actually engaging professionals who can fill the gaps and the craters and make a way where there is no way, even if it is just on a temporary basis.
Make a way. There's no way, even if it is on a temporary basis. That Jamaica gone down to, you know. At them level, education in Jamaica regress to, you know. Them are from 19 something, you know. We're supposed to have bright, intelligent people in our lead, you know. We're supposed to have the best amongst us, you know. For our lead, we know, you know. So we can move the country to prominence now, you know. It has been, tomorrow gonna make 7 days since the hurricane came. The road is already clear so traffic can come through. Power is being restored and in most places already. And internet and phone service come back even at Westmoreland already. When I want to tell me in the comment section, Jamaica, I whole away live at Jamaica and grew up at Jamaica. When have we ever seen that in the history of Jamaica? When? When you talk to me in the comment section. When you ever see there was something happening in Jamaica with phone service and light and water restored in a certain place already, except for worse hit people them. Never, we never see it yet. And DUJON'S Jackson Miller with her big old mouth. Look on him mouth, big like a back pocket and full of teeth like zip. When you look on it. Eh? Me not like the girl there, no. I come as already and I say I don't want to call her and disrespect her and style her because a big woman for me, but I don't like him none at all, my people. None. I don't like her none at all. I was in Jamaica. I was a youngster then. I believe I was 14 when Ivan came. And I remember us not having light for a long time. Light for a long time we never have. I was there in Beryl. And light take probably about 2 weeks to come back. See? It's only a matter of time for them restore power at Westmoreland. I know say it's going to take long to come at St. Elizabeth. Black River especially. See? But we have a government that has mobilized and is getting out there and dealing with the people. I say helicopter after helicopter can't aid. Helicopter land. Where PNP them a talk about? They are trying to score political points. They are trying to score political points and me not like DUJON'S Jackson Miller and nobody can make me like her. I not like her. She one dirty woman. And her orange jaws are show and she's supposed to be non-partisan. I mean, you know, she shouldn't be partisan. And it is evident that she is affiliated to the PNP. It is evident. I don't hear how she attack today like she angry. Like people need to come tell her, me say, that me I want a minister. Me sorry, every Wilmington never did it. If I did me I want a minister, me tell her if it take her ass and come out. Come out from out there. Me diss her up and run her out from there. If I did me. And anyhow you want to look, you look. No time in a history of Jamaica. When, I want to ask you this again, I want you to tell me. When in a history of Jamaica, when you see one hurricane come and mash way up, and the whole world respond to come to aid. Every country in the world are aid Jamaica right now. When do you ever say that? Eh? We never say that yet. We never say that. Every country in the world a line up to help Jamaica. We never see that yet. Never ever. And then people can't bear it. They can't bear. Them can't bear it. Hey, me tell you something, Jamaica. Anyway, we have a clip from Cliff Hughes, so we're gonna listen to Uncle Cliff.
Yes, yes. My heart pains me when I see what's happening in the rest of the country. Yeah? If what? Yes, 28 people. The official death toll is 28. And we know that there are more. We don't know how many more, but we know that it is already some people are reporting other figures. Yes. A little later, I suspect we'll get the latest official count from the government of Jamaica.
May God ever bless you, Mr. Hughes. May God ever bless you, Mr. Hughes, and bless you, God bless them.
All right. Go answer your phone. Hear them calling you? Hear the phone up buzz?
Yes.
All right. Take care, Papa Nana. Yes. We have with us our next caller, James Robertson, the MP for St. Thomas Western.
I want to listen now in Jamaica. I want to listen this year. And I want Unofi share this later on when the live are done. Because I want anybody who never hear this to hear how the PNP then disgusting and terrible. I want to listen.
Good morning, Mr. Robertson.
Morning, sir. How are you?
I'm alive and well. And I still have a roof and the windows.
Well, I can say the same. And I can only tell you that our heart goes out to the west and what's happening down there.
Mm-hmm.
We have suffered losses in the east, but nothing compares to what's happening in the west at this time.
Yes, yes.
But let me say this to you. On Thursday, I got some calls from individuals in the hills, the Blue Mountain Hills, indicating, and they were sending pictures, satellite systems, Starlink, showing me where an individual, a man, was stuck trying to cross the Mohawkville River.
Mm-hmm.
He was injured, sitting in the middle of the river with equipment above him shifting the water. So if anything took place, his life would be lost. He would have made 29. We're at 28. I tried to find a private helicopter service. None were available. I called the Prime Minister and I spoke. He answered the phone on the first ring. He was available Thursday. And I told him what was happening. I actually shared a lot of that information with your station and others from Thursday. The Prime Minister was able to make changes and send a JDF helicopter. The man was picked up within 35 minutes of the first call and transported to safety. His wife, who was stuck on the other side of the river, I understand she was also picked up. So the helicopter made 2 trips Thursday up into the hills of St. Thomas and definitely saved his life.
Yes.
He's from Penline.
Yes.
I sent a WhatsApp message to the Prime Minister indicating that had taken place and all was well. I didn't even say thank you to him. I moved on. I went to Penline on Sunday, which is the first occasion that I could reach Penline. I went there with the mayor, who is also the councillor. After spending the whole day getting to Penline and up into the hills, because those individuals have been marooned for almost 7 days. Because although the hurricane hit Tuesday, Wednesday, they have not been able to cross it for days before that because the heavy rains had already made a lot of things impossible. When I got into Kingston Sunday after last night, I am seeing on social media individuals indicating that the Prime Minister had denied helicopter services to the leader of the opposition. I said to myself, what a cruel attack on the Prime Minister. I usually don't feel sorry for anybody going through the political attack because that's what you're there for. You're to weather it in silence in most cases, as I do. I called him and I said, are you aware of this? He says, James, it's just life. I am not focused on that. I said, well, I am going to deal with it. I saw Mark Golding Saturday in Black River at approximately 10:30. He was servicing the people as leader of the opposition, seeing the damage in Black River. He and I spoke, had a good conversation. I saw no sign of him suffering for lack of a helicopter ride to Black River. He had no complaints. Everybody was doing their best. What I'm trying to say is that the people have to understand the election is over. The time for ill will to create negative and divide. There is my understanding is that where it has been possible, Mark Golding, the leader of the opposition, has had access to helicopter rides. So for people to be making much of something like that, I find unfortunate. Mm-hmm. And these things we must stop. The election is over. We are going to be struggling to fix this country. It is going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And the negativity...
You know, Mr. Robertson, some people have not accepted that they lost on September 3, and they are pretending to be winners. 2, in an emergency such as the one we are confronted with, when all of us, including members of the opposition and their supporters, agree the immediate priority is to get relief in terms of food, water, shelter to those who are having the sky as their roof. No water, no food. If there is...
Good evening, Harold. Winston, big up yourself. Michelle, good evening. Good evening to my beautiful wife. Good evening, baby. When I look at Dean Jackson Miller, I can't stand him. I should have put it now, I should have bag in head, you know. Yeah, man, you remind me of one old, tough, big mouth girl when I used to know. You see me? When I like Dean Jackson Miller, none at all, my people.
A helicopter, we know we have a shortage of helicopter seats. The priority can't be for the leader of the opposition to go and tour. No, the priority has got to be getting those seats to be used, those helicopters to deliver relief, immediate relief to the people of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Hanover, who need the help immediately, not for a seat for the opposition leader to go on tour. That cannot be the immediate priority.
But he needs to come out and stop this sort of behavior because it is people supportive of him.
Well, you know, Mr.
He needs to come out and speak.
Mr.
Because I never saw a complaint and I have to defend him.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to come out and say this is not the case. The helicopters were made available to me on an occasion or two. When it was not, I used private helicopter services. And when I could not use a helicopter service, I got up in the morning like everybody else and drove and did my best. I can tell you, I saw no negative from him in Black River. He and I spoke, no complaints. He was in good spirits, carrying out his responsibility. He needs to lead and stop this sort of behavior that's taking place within his party.
You know, Mr. Robertson, it is one of the nasty side of the Jamaican political reality today that some of us can't put aside the politics for Lady J.A. Yeah, I see the lies being told, on social media about the relief effort. And I've said it and I'm going to repeat it here. There are some in the politics, in the PNP, mostly at fault, who have normalized lying online as a tool of political organization. Yeah, they have people, who are paid to deliberately lie.
People like gay.
And that's where we are in the politics.
And Ugly is not selling.
Oh.
Ugly does not.
People like Gay Brian and Gay Stevens and them blogger there and the thief in one of the lock up of America. She show off her face yet. You know see her back? I want thief in one of the Canada named Tina Times. I want next thief in one of them Triple X with thief. People crab like a foreigner. Be a disgusting thief and criminal. They have I blog for them and I tell peer lie. Yeah.
So
Yes.
maybe they will understand that and they may change their tactics, their game, but Jamaica has to come first. I want to close by telling you this one. I saw a young female doctor finish a full shift. And a shift for them is not 8 hours, it's not 12, sometimes it's 24. Come in and leave Kingston for Sablamar Sunday morning at 4 o'clock. She drove to Sablamar, went into the Sablamar hospital that does not exist, especially into the female ward that does not exist. She worked there a full 12 hours and came back to Kingston. And I noticed and watched how she did it. And there are a lot of young Jamaicans under 30 who are behaving and performing at that level. I said to myself, we all need to take an example from some of the sacrifice that some individuals are making.
She drove herself, Mr. Roberts, after a 24-hour shift?
She didn't drive herself. Another colleague drove her down because
I'm relieved
she
to
was
hear
allowed
that.
to sleep.
Yes, I'm relieved to hear
Another
that.
colleague gave her satellite Starlink coverage and small generators so she could operate and give service to Sablamar.
That is the kind of service required of all of us now.
4 of them did that.
Yes.
And I can tell you, there's a lot of examples of that taking
Very
place.
well. Thank you very much for your contribution this morning, Mr. Robertson.
Thank you.
Good.
So there you have it. No helicopter was denied to Mark Golding. That was a lie. See, the minister was there with him and no helicopter was denied to him. There's also a new lie that they're spreading now. How we go again? There's so much I can't even remember. When I remember, I tell you my people. See? You lie them enough. Can't remember all of them. You can't keep up. Dean Jackson Miller have some kind of gripe, like we would say, with the government because she did not get one of those shiny little things that Emily Shields got. You know why? Emily Shields is a proper journalist. Even though I don't like her sometimes too. But she's better than Dean Jackson Miller 100,000 times. She's a proper journalist. You know? Dean Jackson is a PNP slag. You know, look up the word slag. Just Google it. And it will tell you now. Just Google what is a slag and come tell me so. That is what Dean Jackson Miller is. And I don't care what nobody wants to say. I do not like her. And she's an absolute disgrace to the human race and to Jamaica. In a time like this, where the nation need to band together, she's on the PNP bandwagon. As a matter of fact, she a jackass where them a steer on the wagon. See? I try to tear down this government and tear down the government image. We, the Jamaican people, know that we have never seen such a swift response ever. Never ever. So this is a government that is preparing and prepared to look after the people. I like the way Mr. Vaz answer her, and she wait till Mr. Vaz gone, she said she never get an answer. But I'm sorry, Everall Warmington never in her room sit down and come take a mic from Dr. Dana and say, me deal with her. And run her out. If I did me run her from there, I said, Dean Jackson Miller, come out from out there, man. You're ugly and tough now, where your heel back there cracky, and your calf there big and slab and tough. Move. Would I run him from there? I should have me. They deal with him good. Anyway, the PNP today calling a press conference. They should have been on the ground. If they are so concerned about the people, why are you hosting a press conference? Why didn't you go to the ground and deal with the people? Guys, I want to give me a second. I need to send something from the device to the next one. So live I got pause. You know, just bear with me. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not gone. The live just I got pause. See? I'm back. And by the way, guys, I spoke to my daughter today. She was talking. You know, she talked to me today. You know? So, I spoke to her today. I want to go to the PNP press conference, my people. So I want to bear with me. Alright? I want to bear with me. I could have talked to her for long because the signal patchy. And I did try to call her back. And I could have get her. So the phone line is now open, guys. Let me clear off some sitting off for the phone. And then me go move to the PNP press conference. Let me find it. We go watch it on YouTube, so you know might see 2 ads are coming now and then. Wanna bear with me. See?
Association. And so tomorrow we continue. St. James, a constituency that was directly in the crossbows of miserable Melissa. And then Zuleika Jess will tell you of the experience she had with her constituents in St. Elizabeth. I will also speak to you about what's happening in Westmoreland, Hanover, Trelawney, because the information that we're receiving from our representatives is too much not to share with Jamaica. We will speak again when you can ask us questions at the end of the presentation. But for now, please welcome Mark Golding, the leader of the opposition.
Yeah, Mike, I fry how PNP careless. Eh, that if a good mic then can't afford. And then come a carrier with themselves.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Jamaica. Good afternoon, members of the media and all.
We don't have to bear with the mic, I fry my people. And my fault, I PNP them mic. I want to DUJON'S Jackson Miller can go a press conference. TVJ mic, I hit a fry. Is it me?
Listeners, I want to begin by expressing my profound, heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of those who have lost their lives in this tragic hurricane or its aftermath. Our sympathies also extend very profoundly to those thousands, tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of Jamaicans who are suffering at this time from the impact, the calamitous impact that this hurricane has had. And we are aware, of course, that there are levels of destruction. There's a large ground zero, as it's called, which is really the areas of Jamaica that were in the swathe of the hurricane when the eye hit in east and west.
Somebody could have fixed the mic, my people.
And stretching into St. Elizabeth, stretching into the more westerly parts of Westmoreland as well, and then moving north into South St. James, parts of Hanover, and of course.
Why am I going always sound like he's scared, like he's nervous? I this a man on the door can lead way. You man that broke down, he done tear down when the pressure take him, you know. Don't stay there.
Trelawney and even St. Anne. The rest of Jamaica has also suffered damage, some of it before the hit of the hurricane. And so we can't leave them out because there are communities all over the island where people are in a very difficult situation, whether it be due to no access with roads being blocked or breakaways, landslides, and so on. Our hearts go out to all who are in this dire predicament now. Now, I would say that this hurricane and its aftermath represent an existential threat to our society as we know it. People in life-threatening situations of isolation and deprivation mean that unless relief can reach them promptly and unless the necessary assistance can be found and distributed in an equitable and transparent manner to help them rebuild their lives.
So here's Mark Golding, who said he is not criticizing the government. Has anybody said, has there been any reports that things are not being distributed in an equitable and fair way? Wanna tell me, because I'm not on the ground, me only can get a report. See? So all I want to do on the ground, want to tell me if people are reporting that they are not being given things because they are PNP. Because of that Mark Golding say, and things like this make we not move pan the corruption index, because when an opposition leader come out and say government corrupt, people them will listen and go hold on pan the pints them, and Jamaica can't move. So a hold down thing, a tear down thing, the opposition depend.
Jamaica is going to be facing times, and I think that point is not lost on anyone who is familiar with what is going on as I speak. In this context, we all need to pull together in unity to get Jamaica through this terrible disaster. This is a time to join hands and hearts, not just in words, but in deeds, so that the whole nation can feel part of responding positively to this devastating situation and the solutions that will help us to pull ourselves out of it. The opposition must not at this time be seeking to score political points as a political competitor of the government. This is not the time for the opposition to adopt that posture. And we are indeed trying our very best to operate in the spirit of that. On the other hand, we must point out where there are areas of need and what we see as a priority.
So, I see some people are bail off their life because through them are labor right, and them say they don't want to hear what Mark Golding I say. We have to listen to them. We have to listen to them. That's the only way we can pick out sense out of nonsense and pick out the lie them with them a tell. Because people believe them when they talk, Yeah, people now will believe everything what Mark Golding say, See, so if you can break it down for them and tell them, say, you a lie, I tell and this is why. People are going to hold that and hold in their brain. So, people like me is important for we listen to them things so we can break it down. For people who can't understand, because people don't understand. You understand?
It is in relation to needs, where we see weaknesses in the response mechanisms that need strengthening or correcting, and we must provide where we can constructive, well-intentioned suggestions to help navigate the country through this disaster.
Then who has that Mark Golding from help navigating the country through the disaster? Mark Golding say yesterday, say PNP start relief effort down at Westmoreland. Did anybody stop him? So what am I talking about today? You know, say I was mad. Somebody this how we are deal with. See, say I was mad man. This how we are deal with. You know, say,
We must also demand transparency and fairness in the distribution of all relief. The relief must get to those who need it, prioritizing those who need it most, whether they be of whatever political color or whatever demographic group they may belong to. They're all Jamaicans, and they are to be treated equally in this time without any form of discrimination or tribal politics coming into it. And we want to stand for that.
Says the man who walked past St. James, Hanover, Chilani, St. Elizabeth, and gone down to Westmoreland and render aid down there first. And he must say this, I want to see hypocrisy. That's why I not like nothing near Mark Golding. Nothing at all. I don't like when near Mark Golding. I don't like him. I don't like DUJON'S neither. You see me?
There can be no place for partisanship or profiteering by political insiders or others connected to them at a time like this. It requires good governance, inclusive governance, authentic communication, and everyone working together. I now move to some of the things that I wish to propose in this regard. I have proposed to the Prime Minister from last week, Wednesday, that he should establish a broad-based task force to be given the responsibility of governance oversight over the relief effort, the relief coming in, how it is dealt with, how...
So Mark Golding and the Prime Minister, I was told, had a conversation about this, and they spoke about using a committee that is already established. So Mark Golding coming out today to say that his suggestion to the Prime Minister was this and that. He and the Prime Minister already discussed this from last week and had talked about using a committee that was there already. So Mark Golding here is fibbing again, my people, and lying as per usual. And that a part of the reason me not like him too. Him too lie for big man.
It is distributed, not to manage that process on a day-to-day basis, but to provide oversight to those who are managing it. So there's some accountability for how it's done, and that accountability is being held by a broad-based group that can enjoy. So
this press conference, yes, guys, is where Dan Jackson Miller questions came from today. You know, Dan Jackson Miller, you know, see from the debate, the first question was she asked the Prime Minister, if you don't want glass for say after that, something wrong with you. Is it me I say?
The support and confidence of the whole society, especially those who are suffering terribly now, and no doubt fear that they may not be treated fairly, or they may be ignored or overlooked in the response of the state to the crisis. I also think there needs to be a clear command structure for the actual day-to-day management of the response to the relief. And that should be led, in my opinion, by professionals in disaster management, not by politicians who do not know the ins and outs of responding to a disaster of this magnitude. And we should not be shy of seeking international support and help from persons who have career expertise and experience.
So I'm asking a question, Jamaica. I'm asking, do you back go a while ago? You see all kind of expert, all military. I said, United States military is in Jamaica. Guatemala send military. Italian send military. Me say American them, then send military. We have all kind of expert in it. You see, so we have all kind of expert in it. So we might go to talk about. Eh? Go play a clip, my paper, because I'm tired, you know. I'm tired, God knows.
In this regard. Thirdly, we're going to need a Marshall Plan, a well-funded, broad-based plan for the rebuilding and reconstruction of large swathes of Jamaica, which have been ravaged by this hurricane. That plan cannot be developed today, but it is vital that we prepare such a plan and that it have the inputs of persons who have the necessary skills and experience and knowledge to design a comprehensive, workable plan that can be executed efficiently and that can have the confidence of our international partners we are going to rely on heavily to provide the financial support for this. And in terms of more specific recommendations now, I have asked the Prime Minister to make an additional allocation of resources to members of Parliament so that they can mobilize communities and contractors to help.
The killing there, the bad that brother. But I say he asks for extra resources for MP, so no. All of the money must run through the locality, and the locality must provide a receipt to the government for it. No MP, no forget no money if you do nothing. None at all now. See? It is a disaster era. Who wanna tell me in the comment section? Who has when a disaster is declared? Who have responsibility for that? Are the opposition or the government? Don't tell me.
With the cleaning up of communities that are currently in a state of devastation, clearing roads where necessary, cutting trees and the like. Until that allocation is made, members of parliament are unable to respond to the needs.
So here again, Mark Golden say if they not get no money, then can't clear the road. So what is the purpose of contractors and what is the purpose of NWA? Because NWA has the responsibility to do that and to get the subcontractors as well. So what is the point of NWA if we forget MP money? Because MP want money for pay man for chop down tree. So then can say then give man work and man we vote for them. And that they want it now go happen, unfortunately. I bet Mark go.
The people unless they happen to have some personal resources or access to dealing with it outside of the public system, and many do not have that. I would also say that the process of engaging contractors to do that kind of work should be simplified and made easy for members of parliament, especially in those areas where there's very limited connectivity and where following the...
But go, they don't do the rules at the parliament, you know. They don't hear say MP not supposed to have no kind of dealings with contractor. MP not supposed to do them something. They want to the MP. I would tell you say Mark Golden know protocol them in our country, you know. Anytime when we find them locking, we lock them up. Anytime we find them a broke rule, we lock them up. You say we say she broke a rule, she broke a guidelines, then we lock her up for it.
Normal bureaucratic processes that are required would be very challenging or impossible for members of parliament. If contractors have a TRN, whatever the allocation is, there should be invoices, and those invoices can be submitted, but the work should be able to begin. Secondly, we note and agree with the decision to suspend the imposition of import duties and import GCT on disaster relief items coming into Jamaica. However, we believe that the period for which this has been announced is too short because the time it takes to mobilize funding.
Yes. So I don't want hurricane we just have. And the people don't have to get contractor. If go and clean up the place I job to get cheat. Eh? Who know the impact where this hurricane is gonna have? Have any of you ever lived through a category 5 hurricane before? Have any of you guys ever lived through a category 5 hurricane before? You wanna tell me in the comment section. I look like I am missing something here. Or maybe me just not understand what Mark Golden try to tell me. Anyway.
And make the necessary procurement abroad, the logistics, etc., of getting it shipped to points on land where they can then be shipped or flown to Jamaica takes some time. And to have it cut off by the end of this month is too short. And it's also not clear from the announcement that was made whether goods in transit to Jamaica will get the benefit, even if they haven't landed here at the time of the expiry of the window. I'm suggesting that we recast that window in a way which is more realistic, given the situation that we face.
What Mark Golden say about goods expiry date? What Mark Golden say a while ago? Somebody enlighten me. My phone line is open, by the way, you know. You can call me and tell me. The guy kind of look like me understand what Mark Golden say. What Mark Golden say a while ago about goods and expiry date? But Jesus Christ, if you don't see me dying child. Eh? Mighty God. Oh, you mean he win the free duty? Okay, come on. I misinterpret what I say, you know. I misinterpret what I say, so no need to tell me if I misinterpret what I say. See? Okay, the government can extend it, but they don't need to extend because I'm telling you why. The government are getting adequate amount of aid because everybody in the world respond. Everybody has sent aid. And the government have planned to fix up down at Westmoreland and fix up Hanover and build back Black River. Government already far advanced in that stage there already. See? We have a proper functioning government, you know. The best government Jamaica ever see. But Mark Golin can't bear because he knows Andrew come out of this looking like a hero. You know. You see me?
I also think we need an evacuation plan urgently for persons who are without shelter. That needs to be well thought through so that persons can be moved to places of safety where they...
By the way, Mark Golin collect $56 million a year from rental properties. Properties that he owned personally, him and Sanja. So he collect $56 million per year from rental from properties that he own in Jamaica. So Mark Golin is supposed to have no issue for get people property where they can stay in now, like our hurricane and people live outside.
Whatever form of accommodation can be erected to support them, whether it be tents or something else that can be put in place, and they can have access to the basic means of survival in an organized way. And that is necessary because right now we have people, many Jamaicans who are exposed to the elements, including babies, including children, including the elderly, including persons with disabilities, and they need to be moved to accommodation which protects them from the ravages of the elements going forward. Those are my thoughts, and I'm now going to hand over to the next MP who is going to address more specific concerns.
The next MP, but it's not even know who. Anyway, good evening, Georgia, and good evening to my beautiful mother-in-law. Then man no married to Mama Sanjasa, wife style politics. He married to him, you know. So if he married to him, they split a half and half. You know, unless he did make Sanjasa sign one prenup for back in the day in time there. You know?
In their particular constituency. I thank you.
Eva, big up yourself. How is a ice back, man?
Your party leader. Greetings all. I'm Isa Buchanan, MP for Portland Eastern, also the spokesperson for Youth and Human Rights. I speak on the behalf of the people on the eastern side of Jamaica. I'm setting the context to say that equity in distribution is going to be an important theme if we are to ensure that all persons in Jamaica are not excluded or left out, but rather inclusion. Now in Portland, this is a direct message from the constituents. Port Antonio is not all of Portland. So in saying that, I want people to understand that there was devastation in Portland Eastern. In particular, the Fellowship Division, which is a valley area, Melissa did serious damage in that area. There are persons who, the roofs are all gone. It's similar in the Mansion Hill Division. So there are persons who are homeless as we speak. I raise this in the context that persons have an ability to...
So, we'll move to some real things.
Today,
but before we go any further, my people, let me just say to you, there is no country on the face of this planet, not England, not China, not the United States, not Germany, not Switzerland, none of the major developed countries, them, none of them cannot fix their country back in 6 days after a Category 5 hurricane. None of them. What hit Jamaica was equivalent to a nuclear bomb that hit Hiroshima, and that them take 30, 40 years to fix. Eh? Thank God it wasn't the whole entire Jamaica, because I don't know how would I recover that. I don't think would I recover in our lifetime with that part there. Saying so, thank God that only 7 parish affected. And the Prime Minister is going to fix them. I can bet your money on that. See? We'll start listening to some real people now.
We had with Hurricane Beryl, given the scale of Melissa. So give us a little time to finalize that, finalize the numbers, what it will look like, how you will get access to it. There will be a program, but what you see on WhatsApp is not the program.
Well,
so just give us a little bit more
information. Listen.
time for that. All right, I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to go to Minister Vaz, who has been asked to co-chair the subcommittee of cabinet that is dealing with the recovery efforts, to give his update. Minister Vaz?
Thank you very much.
I think we
Good
might have missed
afternoon,
something, guys. I'm going to rewind a little bit.
ladies and gentlemen, colleague, Minister.
Of Jamaica that have been affected. You have others who we don't talk about a lot. We don't talk about Clarendon and the damage in Clarendon very much. We don't talk about even parts of St. Catherine. We don't talk about Manchester and the issues in Manchester. We need to talk more about Trelawney too and the impact there. So it's been all over the place that we have an impact, and we have to provide support to everybody all over the country. It doesn't matter where they are from. And so that's very, very important. And yesterday I got to see 2 of our schools. One was in Manchester, one was in St. Elizabeth. I went to Homewood Technical High School first, where they had tremendous damage. And I'm expecting this damage to be the same across much of Western Jamaica. And at Homewood, one of the things that left me feeling so good was that I saw the teachers out. I saw the principals there on a Sunday. They were there trying to do their best to rehabilitate the school, because they said they have so many students who are from the West, and that they need to make sure that they provide space for them. So they were primarily focused on the dorms, because they want to bring in children from Western Jamaica. And so, they don't have electricity. They don't have any water, but they were there on Sunday because they love these children so much. And we have to salute them and thank them for their service to Jamaica. I then went to St. Elizabeth Technical High School. And there we've seen the pictures of the damage. When you go into the 5th.
You see, may I tell you something? All of the ministers with responsibility for whatever portfolio is out and doing their job. Now, if the Prime Minister went to Montego Bay or he went to St. Elizabeth and did not go to Westmoreland, what does that have to do? He went to Westmoreland a day after. What did that achieve? They're not still down their ball, so they not get nothing. Even though a man come and say, give me a little time, either come, we are clear the road, them and once the road clear, we are going to go in aid. Even though a man say that, then only see them put out article, say Westmoreland people, they're hungry, and you know, go down there till day after. Eh? And which country you know I go fix back in a 6 day after one category 5 hurricane when none of we never get yet? Which country you know no point out and tell me? I can't stand them people, brother, especially the one up on the screen. I like her none at all.
Farm area on a 3-story block. When you look up, you see the sky. When you look out, you see the entire field. And there are no walls, there are no windows, there is nothing. That's tremendous damage. And again, on Sunday, I saw members of the board. I saw teachers, many teachers out. And what did they say to me yesterday that made me feel good about being a Jamaican?
He looked so Leone.
They said that they were trying to get water from their well because they want to be able to give water to the rest of the community that did not have water. This is a school that was decimated, significant damage. And that's what they're thinking about. They're thinking about how do I get water to the rest of the community.
Andrew Holness nothing make them pressure him. I tell her why. Andrew Holness never need them to win in a 2016. And he never need them to win in a 2025. See? Don't make them put no pressure upon you. Go when you feel like and go when you please. Send the food, go give them. Send it up all in and send the bed, go give them. But you don't have to go. What they want to see you for? I mark goal in them if you call, and him they vote for. And him they if you call with them problem them. People are going to say about your tribal and a tribal politics. This is politics. That's how politics go. You're supposed to look out for who look out for you. And anybody else want to look out for you, them get the scraps. That's how politics go. What do you say Donald Trump? Eh? Oh, what does stay there?
The community. They're trying to get generators, to get freezers up to help the rest of the community also. They asked for Starlink because they said then everybody in the community can come and use ours. They saw themselves as central to the community getting back up. And so I salute them. I salute them because I know what they're going through at home. It is difficult times for them. And I could see the pain in their faces too, but they were doing the best that they could do. I also saw one of the teachers who said that her role is to go around. If she hasn't heard from a student, she goes and she visits the home. And so she really knew a lot of the marooned areas because she was going around visiting and taking packages. Because Jamaicans need to realize, we talk about it, but we don't necessarily see it.
Some real information.
We have many children in food insecure homes.
People, so
they eat when they go to school. The PATH program in school is central to their nutrition. And so that school understood.
Fast forward to Daryl Vaz, my people.
Time trying to reach out to some of our stakeholders. I spoke to Damian Crawford, the opposition spokesperson. We had a long conversation about what reopening could look like, what the new school system could look like. And that was very productive. I also did speak on Thursday to President Malava, president of the JTA, and we had discussed the opening of school approach, which was leaving it to the schools and letting the school community decide based on their local conditions. So conversations have been had, including with the president of the Principals Association. And so tomorrow we continue that spirit of collaboration, even if people don't want to say that they're being consulted. We continue in that spirit. In the Ministry of Education, and I know this administration, we believe in collaboration. And we actively try to get collaboration. And I know often people don't admit to the cause, and, you know, we can't do anything about it, right? All we can.
Some just they don't want to hear the part. They say they are in contact with the opposition. They must speak to them, but the opposition is saying that they're not getting any calls. You know.
What we can do is focus on ourselves and know that we are acting with integrity. And so tomorrow we'll meet with the JTA, the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, the Association of Principals and Vice Principals, the Jamaica Independent Schools Association, the National Parent Teachers Association, the National Secondary Student Council, the Jamaica Prefect Association, the Jamaica Union of Tertiary Students.
I don't need to.
I watch on YouTube, guys, so no one they don't pop up. See?
Spur Tree, Bevan, and Rose Hall within the past 24 hours. I don't need to tell you how huge that is in terms of getting connectivity in those areas. Over the next 2 days, the focus will be on restoring service from Falmouth to Montego Bay, then Montego Bay to Negril. Work is also ongoing in Portmore, Spanish Town, and St. Thomas.
That in the next 2 days.
Approximately 64% of Flow's fixed sites are now operational, with 40% of customers reconnected, mainly the urban areas where the power has been restored. Work continues to bring service back in to more affected western and southern parishes. For mobile network, 37% of our sites are up, reaching about 78% of mobile customers. Repairs are focused on the hardest hit parishes, including St. Anne, Hanover, and St. Elizabeth, where several towers were damaged. Neptune Communications, working with Marlink USA, is replacing and relocating damaged satellite units to restore connectivity where it is available. Additional satellite kits are arriving this week to expand coverage. Over the past 48 hours, additional Starlink kits were allocated to organizations providing essential assistance to Jamaica impacted by Melissa. I want to an emergency response team stationed in Jamaica and are helping to coordinate the Starlink installations. So again, a charitable organization brought 200 mobile Starlink, and Starlink gave the government of Jamaica 400 residential. We are using those residential / commercial. All 400 will be allocated out to government agencies and NGOs by end of day tomorrow. Bearing in mind, we just received them on Friday. So we are allocating them according to specifications and needs of the hardest hit parishes. So ODPEM and Ministry of Labor and Social Security would have gotten today, the fire brigade would have gotten today, and a lot of other essential services, too much to name. The Ministry of Health, in close coordination with United Nations Children's Fund, is working to restore connectivity to major hospitals and community health centers. Jamaican government, the Jamaica Red Cross and international NGOs are also using connectivity provided by Starlink to distribute food, water, and sanitation supplies, basic household items, and children's activity kits. The Starlink devices have been used to establish connectivity for community Wi-Fi points. So remember, we have hundreds of community Wi-Fi sites that were put in by the Universal Service Fund, which falls under my ministry. So we're working with Starlink now to get those back up so that communities, especially remote communities, will have community Wi-Fi to be able to communicate with their families, etc. So to close on Starlink, I today distributed between today and tomorrow before Parliament starts. All the members of Parliament in the affected areas will get a mobile Starlink. All the mayors will get a mobile Starlink. And obviously, the leader of the opposition will get a mobile Starlink, and several others. We only have a few, 33 that we have distributed today, but we're hoping by end of week they will get. So the focus and emphasis is on those hardest hit parishes. Sorry, clarification. The mayors in the hardest hit parishes who do not have already Starlink, and the municipal corporations will get Starlink to operate as they are the emergency response. Municipal corporation is the emergency response for the parish. The Jamaica Defense Force and Jamaica Constabulary Force also have utilized Starlink to coordinate humanitarian logistical operations and provide missions. Finally, Starlink has also employed to restore cell services to some areas. I indicate the ATMs. We have gotten lists from the Jamaica Bankers Association. We're working with them through Starlink to connect the ATMs in those affected areas, and we expect to get at least 10 of them up this week. So we are ticking the boxes of all of the essential services that are going to be required. JPS, I leave that for the president of JPS to make a presentation. He made a presentation to Cabinet this morning, for which they will be called to come to Cabinet every week to give an update.
So guys, may I skip it to the part with Dan Jackson Miller, see?
To Cabinet.
connectivity. That's a contrary to what?
See if I see Dean Jackson Miller ugly face. And then stop it there, so. Alright, see it on my fine. Ugly.
Communities, the church, the entertainers, the sports stars, everybody is a part of it. And then having that volunteer program on supportjamaica.gov.jm. If you want to volunteer, and I know many do, please go and register so that you can be selected to support around the country. All right, we're on to questions, and I see one hand up from before we opened. Oh, you're gonna, okay, he's yielding. Yes. You're yielding? Okay, all right. He's yielding to Dion. It is so good.
Yes. Before we get to Ms. Jackson, just a reminder, once you ask your questions, the camera operators are asking that you remain standing until your questions have been addressed.
Okay.
Thank you, Dion Jackson Miller, TVJ. Minister, billions of dollars are going to be coming in terms of relief. Why have we not yet heard the announcement of an independent oversight committee to include, for instance, private sector, civil society, and opposition members to monitor the expenditure that is going to be done along with regular reporting to Parliament? What we don't want is an Auditor General's report 6 months after the fact.
Whoopsie.
I have a whole heap of questions.
So wrong with the Auditor General report? Do not tell me in the comment section if something wrong with that. What if they get the Auditor General report 6 months after the fact? Eh? I hope Labour right now left power till Dean Jackson Miller dead. Because I don't want to get no one medal in our country for nothing. So I hope we don't come out of power till long after she dead. All if he live till him 100, if he's still in the power. You know hear me tell you?
I'll just ask a couple and yield to my colleagues.
Sure. All right, please
May I
continue. Give me two more. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, second, I heard everything. I've been hearing everything that's been said. However, the national response, the immediate national response, has been slow and inadequate. The government has been acting as if it didn't know the kind of damage that a Cat 5 would have done. Why?
What do you hear? What do you hear? The government act like they never know what kind of damage a Cat 5. Who can prepare for a Category 5 hurricane? Have we ever seen a Category 5 hurricane ever? Has Jamaica ever experienced a Category 5 hurricane ever in our history? And this, how was the government to know that it was going to be so extensive?
Have we not seen immediate deployments of mass aid to the affected communities, along with things like immediate erection of warehouses to hold such aid, immediate erection of mass shelters and or evacuations? And then finally, for now, why had we not seen an equivalent in-time response to Westmoreland as there was to St. Elizabeth, seeing that that was where the eye of the hurricane made landfall? So it was obvious that there would also have been catastrophic damage there.
All right, thank you. Those are three questions. And Dion, it's good to have you here.
We have Elisa Hyacinth for scrutinize what go on. For show people them just how biased PNP and their surrogates are. She was promised a position by Mark Golden, you know. And she not get it. And then the government come give Emily Shields award and she not get none. So he burn him. That's what I see my behave, so he burn him.
Not used to having you at my press briefings, but I'm glad to have you. And those are questions you hear floating around, and I'm glad that we get a chance to answer them. You asked about a committee with the funds that are coming in. Yes, we're going to get some insurance payments from CRIF and some of the other policies that we have. I think tomorrow you need to listen out for the Prime Minister's announcements. There will be a body that will be overseeing that reconstruction work. That will happen, and the Prime Minister will name the members of that. There has been discussions, even with the leader of the opposition, about whether or not that could be the National Partnership Council. Because remember, we have a National Partnership Council that has the opposition there, that has civil society, has academia, has private sector there. So it's a broad group of individuals that are in that partnership council. So one consideration is to use that partnership council that already exists with all of the key players and partners as that mechanism at the top. And it's going to be broader than just looking at how the funds are being paid. That committee is the one that's going to have to say, how do we build back? You know, we have communities that are close to the sea. What does rebuilding look like? Should we rebuild there? Should we rebuild somewhere else? And so there are big questions that we have to confront with as Jamaica. And the commitment the Prime Minister has made is that there will be an overarching body, whether you use an existing mechanism like the Partnership Council.
Yeah, so the Partnership Council was discussed as a potential possibility to be used. No, I don't want the Prime Minister to use that. I want the Prime Minister to use one and put labor right in it, put free people in it, go to hell opposition. Because when time them did in a government for how long, them put all of them people them where they want them. And that then do, we need to do the same.
Or you use something that's new, a new body, but there will be an oversight body. Now, I left cabinet early before it finished, not sure where they would have reached on it, but there has been discussions already in cabinet on that one. The second one is about
most composite garden buildings use the clean, green ground.
The immediate response being slow. I know Minister Vaz wants to answer, but so you can come forward, Minister Vaz. But as you come, just noting that a Cat 5 is a different category of a hurricane, and the devastation was significant. And as we've seen with many disasters around the world, and we've been looking at disasters around the world, how quickly you get to mobilize. There is always that period of assessing what is happening and getting the aid in. Yesterday, I saw Red Cross, I saw GEM, I saw the World Food Programme out, and all of those are coordinated through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. And so there is a lot more happening, and you hear about the helicopters dropping food. It is, you know, after a hurricane like that, you have to assess and then re-establish.
I have seen footage today of the helicopters going out 3, 4, 5 times in a day to go drop food. See? So who, I said they not get no food. Maybe two people not have internet, we not really see what go on. But, you know, some of them, me not say I lie, them I tell, but just be patient. It'll come.
New systems to get food out, and I think the team has been doing that. I know Minister Vaz can tell you more about what has happened. And in terms of Westmoreland, everybody is important and everybody is being focused on. The Prime Minister went out for 2 days straight and he went to all of the affected parishes. He went to St. Elizabeth, he went to Westmoreland, he went to Trelawney, he went to St. James, and he also eventually went to Manchester, and he went to Hanover too. So those first 2 days after the hurricane, the Prime Minister made sure to go to all of the affected, the most affected parishes. Minister Vaz.
So I'll answer one aspect of it, and Minister McKenzie will answer the other. There is a committee that has been named with Senator Keith Duncan and Minister Audrey Marks to coordinate with private sector. That has been going on in earnest. We met all weekend. There is warehouse spacing that has been found in Montego Bay. There's warehouse spacing that has been found outside of what the government apparatus has. I would say we are probably up to 300,000 square feet of additional warehousing that is going to be needed, because we're going to be staging from Montego Bay and Kingston, because that's where the two international airports are. I want to remind you who asked the question, and I want to remind Jamaica, tomorrow will be 6 days.
The Bunny Minister say you who asked the question, hey, Bunny me.
because the hurricane hit on a Tuesday. So 6 days is where we are at now. And I can say to you that we have not only engaged the full private sector, and they are fully supported with their assets, with their money, and with their expertise, on top of which all of the international organizations and charities who have done this kind of thing all over the world are also at the table. We met for hours on Saturday, and they have done an assessment as to where we are and what we need to do. We cannot bypass the government systems and structures that are in place, but we can take advice and we can use them, and we are intending to do that. You will see a huge improvement this week, and you will see getting better every day going forward.
You know, when they keep asking about oversight and money, they are alluding to the fact that the money is going to go missing. When has money gone missing in this country under this government, under the Andrew Holness-led government? When has money gone missing from any of the cabinet ministers? When? Do they not see that the place was developing? Or did they not see that the place was developing? And it's time come set we back 5 years now. 5 years we have to start back from scratch. A 5 years set we back, all like progress we'll make over a 5 year, it's set we back now. But we shall overcome. I'm a guarantee you them are going to fix it. 12 months. Better no. 12 months then fix this.
This government is committed. This government is competent to deal with it, and we know our limitations as a government and of course a structure, and we will get the support internationally and from the private sector jointly to deal with this in a comprehensive way, that at the end of it, when we rebuild, we'll be rebuilding for the future and fixing a lot of what problems there were for the last 60 years.
I just want to respond on the comments around the shelter and the relief supplies. I want to make it clear that prior to the hurricane season, all the municipal corporations meet with the ADPEM and the various agencies. There's a humanitarian committee of the National Disaster Council which meets almost every week. Relief items was placed in all parishes across Jamaica prior to the event. The parishes that are badly affected, all the facilities were destroyed during the hurricane. So it is not that the government did not. We have always placed relief items at strategic points across the country. Montpelier is a massive warehouse in Montego Bay, but access to the facility has been impeded because of the road conditions. And I want to make it abundantly clear that this administration is not.
So many supplements. You need one that works for you. AG1 is your easy way to get daily.
Incompetent, and we were responsible, we were proactive in preparing the country. Nobody can plan for a category 1 or a category 5 hurricane. Nobody can. And I am saying without fear of contradiction that the government was prepared. We provide the necessary notice to the people. We say to the country that this thing is coming, take the necessary precautions. We could not control God's hand.
All right. Thank you. You wanted to add something, Minister Vaz?
No, I just wanted to add, just for clarity, that the first field hospital was delivered to the West yesterday and should be up and running, if not tomorrow. Plus, we have several more that are coming. For water filtration plants, all of those are underway. We have, the world is helping us. Every country across the world and organizations, because they love Jamaica. So we have the support. What we need to do is just channel it and make sure that we maximize the efficiency of the implementation.
All right. Our next question. Minister Charles wants to add something quickly.
Everybody wants a piece of this. They're dealing with him grimy.
To this. the questions that came before.
Just to indicate that the matter of disaster preparedness is something that has to be very strategic. What the Ministry of Labour and Social Security did is one of the examples where we actually, before the hurricane, worked with the JDF to move several of our items out of the warehouse up to Upper Camp to keep them safe. It's one of the reasons why, despite pre-positioning thousands of packages across the country, particularly in St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland and others, we couldn't do all, because you have to contemplate the fact that as a Cat 5, it will actually affect your warehouse and your shelters, as it did for some of the things pre-positioned in Westmoreland, where it was so bad that we lost some of the items. So we have a very strategic approach, which includes working with our humanitarian assistance partners. We have 6 mobile storage units across the country.
If my daughter you talk about Rocky, me talk to my daughter. My daughter, all right.
Now from the World Food Program, another 8 on their way, which will make 14. The Food for the Poor also have massive containers that they are strategically positioning in close proximity to the areas that are greatly affected. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security and government are working also to expand our storage and to expand our production of packages, and we have pushed those out in delivery with our partners. We have right now, Minister, a compilation of perhaps more than 40,000 packages. When you look on the bulk items that we have, that will be available to us over the next 2 to 4 weeks. So I say that to say that it's not just quick response. We do have rapid response, but it's not just quick response. It's strategy towards long-term recovery.
Thank you. I think the mic was right there. Okay.
Right. Thank you. Minister Charles, you spoke about, in your presentation, about persons who were hungry. I've heard of persons who are going 2-3 days or more without food. And obviously, the clock is ticking. And for the communities that are marooned, you mentioned 25 communities. Can you give us an appreciation of the timeline within which the government intends to take these relief packages to these persons who desperately need them? That's the first question. In terms of the oversight mechanism, my colleague spoke about a broader framework, but during the COVID pandemic, I remember the government established a special committee of parliament, and I think the people's representatives are very important in this respect. A special committee of parliament was established to provide oversight for the COVID process. So I'm wondering if, without reinventing the wheel, if the government is already considering establishing such a committee where all the stakeholders and all the persons who are involved in the relief effort could be invited to Parliament to speak to the people's representatives and to deal with questions of accountability and the spending of money and so on. And the final question would go to the Minister with responsibility for works. You have spoken extensively about the main corridors and efforts to clear those. But for the areas that are marooned, just an idea as to when you'll be able to make inroads in some of those communities. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for those questions. Minister Charles, I think you're the first one. Food for those that are marooned.
Thank you for that question. I just want to indicate that, as Minister McKenzie alluded to, one of the issues that caused and still will impact the delivery of packages is access. And so it's actually why you might have seen, I wouldn't say focus, but perhaps presence in some areas more than others, access and connectivity. That's contrary to what some may believe. Our social workers, the JDF soldiers and partners were out in every parish immediately after, even in parishes where there was no connectivity and therefore you weren't hearing as much or seeing as much. But obviously, where there is a difficulty in access that impedes the ability to move. We are using airlift. We have the ability through our 429 helicopters to do at least 12 drops and perhaps 2 drops each with the Chinooks and the Black Hawks that we have from the American partners. That's 22 drops in total in terms of airlift. On the ground, the JDF is consistent and have been working to do at least hundreds of drops in terms of packages, depending on the terrain and depending on the unique circumstances for each community that we confront. And it is different in every community. Believe me, there's a myriad of situations that we have to confront. What's important is to note that we continue at this stage now to expand beyond just the immediate rapid response to the design of a very carefully calculated distribution channel, which will see us working with partners to make sure that we have consistent support, consistent delivery, consistent channels to get the food, the water, the cleaning supplies, and whatever else is needed to those persons who need it the most.
All right, thank you very much for that response, and hopefully you got an answer there. The other one was about the main corridors and the Committee of Parliament. Minister Morgan, you want to come for the main corridor, just in terms of the Committee of Parliament? As I said, I missed Cabinet, but there are many options being looked at, and we obviously COVID was a...
You can't stand Diane Jackson Miller. She's really a disgusting creature. She's a cretin, a rodent, a roach, a lizard, anything we crawl, that she be. I can't stand her.
Great example of how we can do things going forward. And so we've actually been looking back at the COVID experience to see what worked and what maybe needed to be tweaked. And so Cabinet is discussing what's the best approach for that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Morris Dixon. The first thing I want to say to answer your question is that I think we're at what, day 5 or 6?
6.
We're at day 6 of the disaster. And I want to contextualize what we have done. We've been able to move significant heavy equipment from all across the island and concentrate them between St. Elizabeth and Trelawney. That if you draw a line from Ocherios all the way down to the border of Manchester and St. Elizabeth, we've been able to move
We are aware of it. It is passed on to the JCF and the JDF. And if it's a marooned area, if it's not a marooned area, the JCF can easily just go in and retrieve the bodies. But in marooned areas, that's where the issue is. We have to find somewhere to land. First, we need to know about it. And then we need to find somewhere to land the helicopter so that we can retrieve the bodies. And a lot of the ones you would have heard that we have announced, those painful numbers, were actually retrieved by the JDF using helicopters. All right, are there any other questions?
Yeah. My questions weren't answered. I'm going to repeat them and add 2 new ones. There has been an obvious and concerning difference in the immediacy of response to Westmoreland as compared to St. Elizabeth. I'm asking why, and with absolute respect, saying that everybody is the same isn't a response to that concern. Secondly, the response that warehouses were pre-positioned before the hurricane doesn't answer my question as to the slowness of the response once the hurricane had passed in getting in aid, in putting in warehouses or whatever it takes, as well as in providing shelter and or evacuation. So those questions have been answered. And then 2 new ones. One, I'm not hearing an acknowledgement of the fact that there is a crisis in terms of fuel in Western Jamaica, and whether there is some kind.
Me never know, say, a question start with, I'm not hearing. Me would even answer that, you know, but I run him out from the time for go and him go.
of special initiative to deal with that situation. Like all of my colleagues, I've been in the field. I was in Utsab yesterday, in Westmoreland yesterday, saw Senator. The gas stations are mobbed with individuals with containers as well as with long lines of cars. You can't get no gas until you basically reach back to Kingston. I'm not hearing a specific initiative to address that problem. And finally, I am not hearing any indication of what sounds like a bipartisan effort to deal with this issue. The government...
We don't need to no bipartisan effort. We don't struggle. We don't need to interact with the opposition. We don't need to tell them no. We don't need their help to do nothing. We have a full cabinet and ministers who are capable. What we need to be bipartisan for. See? Whatever work need to go through the MP, them go down at their constituency and the government will liaise with them. We don't need to involve Mark Golding in nothing. Nothing, none at all. Who is Mark Golding? Eh? Are him a lead the country? No. So why we need bipartisan effort? Why? We don't need that. Mark Golding go one side and go sit down and move in front of we.
Just from looking on, seems to have almost entirely shut out the opposition, notwithstanding your comment about an informal conversation over the phone with the spokesman and education minister. We are not hearing or seeing what appears to be a bipartisan effort to deal with this crisis.
All right, thank you for the questions. I'm going to start with that last one on the bipartisan effort. This has to be an all of Jamaica effort, and I think the Prime Minister has acknowledged that. On the Saturday before the hurricane came, the Prime Minister invited the Leader of the Opposition to Jamaica House to be briefed. He was briefed by Ministry of Labour, was briefed by Evan Thompson. They got several individuals from government briefing on the preparations for the hurricane. A lot of questions were asked. Some suggestions were made in the meeting, and the government took
I will see you, dear Mike.
Those on board, and I think that's an important signal of intent to have the opposition be a part of the activities. I know that the Leader of the Opposition is in contact with the Prime Minister on a daily basis. I know that that is happening.
On a year? On a year? Yet Mark Golding on platform today, I say it need to be a giant up thing, and them need to be transparent, and they need to tell him what go on, but yet they can't tell the world in front of Dean Jackson Miller, who is one of Mark Golding's henchmen. Cause I want transmission on look pan there, you know. See? Yet a minister can't tell her in front of her face and the media, so the Prime Minister talk to Mark Golding on a daily basis. But Mark Golding is in a press conference today saying that there's nothing going on in the government now, this and the government now, that. Mark Golding for stop it lying, brother. Everything that happens in Jamaica, the Prime Minister brief Mark Golding about it. Only did know say even the election, Mark Golding know from the Monday, the Prime Minister send him a letter saying he'll call the election on the Wednesday. You know? And Mark Golding and Dayton Campbell come out and say, call it, Andrew, call it. And if you don't call it, we'll go call it. When they get the letter and know say election will call on the day there. This is the kind of people we have to deal with as the opposition. Them themselves not transparent, them are liar and wicked. Lord God Almighty.
And so this notion that we're not going to be bipartisan is not correct. We're the government. We have to do what we need to do, and we have to govern. But we also need to say this is a Jamaica effort. You have the church here. We have the opposition that we have said is going to be a part of the oversight body.
So, I'm glad you said that, Leonie Lioness, and I believe that for all the persons who died in the hurricane, I believe them will lock up a PNP blogger them, lock up especially L.A. Lewis, you know, for negligence and for public mischief, and I am sure some kind of other charge in it, involuntary manslaughter or something is in there. They should lock up L.A. Lewis and some of the bloggers that was telling the people that no hurricane now come and them not to prepare. Andrew, I use technology to take over a country, to rule the people. As far as me know, no government rule the people. A government, when we elect a government, we elect a prime minister rule the country. So how we government want to take control and rule the country when a government already in a control and a rule the country? Wanna make it make sense to me, people? Because I don't know if I'm done, sorry. Eh? If people then dep on media tell the people them say government want to take no land. No for them we talk about government want to take land. They don't own no land. No for people who rebel about government go take land, they don't own no land. Eh? Boy. Boy.
Position that we have said is going to be a part of the oversight body. We have had to be working through a lot of the MPs in order to get aid out. They're very important partners in this. Minister Charles is constantly on the phone with them.
Here, them a talk with the MP, them PNP MP, to get out the aid. I want to see Nikisha Burchell a ball this evening, ball, yeah, water, me can't get no aid, me people, they hungry. And listen, I don't have no reason for disbelieve Dana Dixon, because if she said that, they would come out and say a lie. They not say that. They must say something else.
Carol Vaz is constantly on the phone with them. So there is a channel that is open to the opposition, and the opposition is feeding into.
Fancy new razor, arriving today with Amazon Prime.
That's it. And so we are going to, in our rebuilding, we're going to have everybody on board. The private sector, the opposition is going to be important. And on a sectoral basis, we're going to also have to work with the opposition. And I think that is going to be very clear for everyone to see. And it's not just me, it is the entire government. You spoke about the slowness of the response, the perceived slowness. And you know, the reality is that this was a cat feb. And I'll tell you from my experience being at ODPEM and doing the briefings every single day. Every day, the path shifted. We were expecting it to enter maybe closer to Kingston, then it shifted to maybe Clarendon, then it shifted to maybe closer to Mandeville. And then as it kept going west, we had those who were praying, oh my goodness, it looks like it's going to miss Jamaica. And then, you know, as it got closer on the morning, and remember the rain started from before, we saw where it was going to probably be parity. And we said, everybody who's in that path, you need to move out of that path. It wasn't until in the morning of the storm that we really had a clearer picture of what this hurricane was doing. This hurricane was not a normal hurricane. In terms of its movement, in terms of it just stalking Jamaica for days, it was not normal. And so it entered where we were not necessarily expecting. And if you go back and look at the reports, you will see that the path shifted.
I think the government should shut down all communication with the opposition. I believe the government should shut down all networking with the opposition. Do not call them, do not involve them in anything, do not invite them anywhere. Just shut off all communication. When they come to parliament to debate with them, and that's it. No kind of liaison, no liaison. Do not tell them anything that is going on. Nothing. Just cut them out completely. I believe it is time now. This leader that they have now, he is not good for neither the opposition nor Jamaica. And I believe the government should cut ties with them right now. Do not call back Mark Gold into a meeting. As a matter of fact, when he requests for a meeting, do not grant it. Do not do anything with Mark Gold at all. As long as he's the leader of the PNP, lock them out of government completely.
Quite a bit in the last day in terms of where it would enter Jamaica, and where were people even saying maybe it's not going to hit Jamaica. And so the warehouses that were there in that path, and even if you go to the day before, even if you look at some of the models, they said Jamaica, it would weaken before it made landfall in Jamaica. It was being reported by the scientists, but it did not weaken. It got stronger right before it came to Jamaica. So that category 5 devastation, 185 miles an hour wind, that is really, really hard for anyone to plan for. And so the government has had to do what it can do in order to provide the support as quickly as possible. Given our terrain, we're not a flat
The government no fi do nothing with them none at all. Government fi call fi all government property fi come back. If you have government phone, take it back. If you have government vehicle, take it back. Make them drive their own, make them use their own personality. Do nothing with them as long as them are government. Make them move up as long as them are opposition. Make them move from in front that we don't want to hear nothing from them. See? As a matter of fact, I believe they should go even further and lock up Mark Golding. I believe so they can lock him up. You hear me I tell you now?
That country, we have mountains, we have rivers. And remember, this hurricane didn't just come with wind. It came with record rainfall, so we had flooding. And so the first thing we have to do in terms of getting to the communities is to open the roads. And that's what Minister Morgan's focus was on. And then after that, it was working with all of our aid agencies and partners to get them into Jamaica, to help them to support us, because they have the international expertise and goods to help us. And so we've done it as...
For treason. Mark Golding go down to Westmoreland yesterday and say, I'm going to give them aid. Now today Mark Golding has said government has stopped him from giving people aid. And government only want aid to come in through them alone. And government need to be transparent about money. You know, say man I try to plant a seed to stir up divide in a them time. Yeah. When he say a country is at a weak point. When you stir up the people, them anger and the people then start riot and police kill some of them, because that's going to happen. Blood are going to put Mark Golding shoulder. See? And then they're going to try to use that to win the election. Because people them will blame and just say, hurricane come and they don't live now and police go and kill them. Sake of Mark Golding stir up the people them anger. He's a danger to our society. I must get people like that out of our society. We will lock him up. See? And if you know I look for a hangman, me available.
Quickly as we can now, the marooned communities are really the big concern. And we are doing a lot now that we have all the helicopters from JDF and we have from our international partners, we are able to do more food drops than we could before. So there's a lot that has happened, and I want you to talk about fuel too. The fuel one, I'm sorry Minister Vaz had to leave because we were talking about fuel just now.
Minister Vaz has been on my case about since we started clearing. The first priority of access is to create access so that we can reach vulnerable persons, meaning emergency services, whether it be ambulances, whether it be first responders and so on. So our first priority was not to get heavy duty tankers into Black River or getting it into Savannah Lamar. So the first priority was single lane access so that vehicles, SUV.
So I want to listen to the part there, because Dan Jackson Miller says fuel short and Armageddon all kind of thing. And I facts a fuel short, you know, my people. So my gas station they mash up. So people have to go to you and them way. No mash up. That's all. That happen. So when them mash up, lockdown, they not sell no gas car, they mash up.
Is so on and people walk foot can go through. That was a very difficult task, especially going through Bamboo Avenue. I don't know if you remember, we had the JDF in there, we had the NWA in there, we had people with cutlasses, we had people intertwined. Bamboo is not something that I can just put a backhoe in and push away because it's very difficult. So we got through Bamboo Avenue, then we went to places like Middle Quarters, where all the light poles were on the ground, all the trees were on the ground. So we had to cut through that. We had people at Black River Hospital. JDF had to start coming down. Let me give you an example. All the doctors at Black River Hospital lost their housing because they lived in a community beside the hospital. So the first responders that you had situated in the space who would serve not just Black River but also Westmoreland, because the other hospital would be in Sav. So you have hospital in Black River, hospital in Sav, and people in between go to each. So our first priority was to provide access to rescue those people. After we did that first single lane rescue, and the NWA was able to create a path to Savannah Lamar incrementally. So the first major town we went to, which is maybe why people perceive there is bias, is Black River, because Black River is on its way. So we're coming from Montego Bay, we're coming from Manchester. We reach Black River first. We see the damage there. That's the first thing that comes out into the public, right? So everybody says Black River is destroyed. Nobody has yet been able to go to Westmoreland because all the roads are blocked. And even flying over, you would not see the full damage because there's no communication. I did not know the extent of Westmoreland's damage until we were able to get people in and get JDF to fly over Westmoreland. We still haven't reached the tanker issue yet. It is only over the last 2 days that we've been able to confidently tell the gasoline haulage contractors that it is now safe for you to drive to Savannah Lamar. Because they said they're not driving under any JPS light pole. So we had to work with JPS to remove those light poles. They're not going to drive against anything that could puncture their tanks. So I went yesterday with heavy equipment behind me, not because the NWA is not doing a good job, but because I needed to be confident to convince the ministry that, listen, we can take the tankers now. The other point is, Dion, some of the gas stations are destroyed. The gas station on the coast in Black River does not exist anymore. The only gas station that exists in Black River is the one, that is not in the town. It's on the outskirts of the town. Right? The other gas station is not in a good condition. The gas station in Westmoreland is also destroyed. So the issue you're having is not just the availability of bringing in gas into the community, but also where are you going to safely store that gas? And that's a medium-term problem because you can't just send a tanker in there and park it on the side of the road and say, come and buy some gas. When we were driving through yesterday, we had full tanks of gas. And it was not until we reached Boot in St. Anne that we found a gas station that was open late. Yes, there were other gas stations that we heard were open in the day, but because of the nature of what has happened, because of the lack of electricity that is typical for the entire section of the island, a lot of gas stations are closed early. So those are things that we're going to have to work with. But what I can confidently say now is that for the gas stations that are able to take fuel, the retailers, the haulage contractors are now willing to traverse that area. They weren't confident to travel through Black River, go to Sav before yesterday because there were still impediments on the road. I hope that explains the issue, why gas was so short or has been short. Thank you.
And I'll note that Minister Vaz has a proposal in terms of making things much easier there. And also that was one of the reasons where we were thinking about whether or not we needed to maybe restrict some movement maybe in the night, late in the night, so that the fuel trucks can actually go through late in the night and actually get to refuel where the gas stations are okay. All right, so I know it's been a long day. We're at 5:47 p.m. Thank you. And so as we end, we're very much thinking about.
All right, that's pretty much it, people. I mean, I think she want no more answer more than that, but I guess she was angry, I want to say that Diane Jackson Miller, I have no respect for her. She's very dunce. She's the second duncest person in Jamaica, right behind her leader, Mark Golding. I can confidently say that since 2020, Diane Jackson Miller orange jars have been showing. She's an absolute disgrace to the profession of journalism. A journalist is one that go out and get the answers and are, not persons that take one side, even if they do have a side. You don't usually see that from journalists. It is evidently clear that Diane Jackson Miller is a comrade. And not only a normal, regular comrade, because we like normal, regular comrade, like Mama Karen and, the Resistance. Them, they are normal, regular comrades. This year, John Cryer, we don't see her so. Seeing leader the way dog do in her head. She is a riser, a Rise United scumbag of the earth, Diane Jackson Miller. And she is upset, very upset, that Emily Shields, yes, mommy, you could have hear anger in her voice like she want to do somebody something. But if I was the minister there, I would have get up and dash her through the door, make she go on where she go. Tell her to come out of this and move up. But she's upset that Emily Shields got one of them shiny little medal there. And she never get none. So that bun her. You know? But we don't want to hear nothing from her. She too corrupt. And she should go on side. You know? And we need to erase her from out of our history. Anytime he's dead, we have to play nothing for him and remember him. Not like how we remember Miss Lowe and other people. You see how people always talk about Monty Perkins. We're not going to talk nothing about Dean Jackson Miller. Dean Jackson Miller was biased and a criminal. Anybody will follow behind the PNP is a thief and a criminal too. Especially under the leader of Mark Golding. See me I say? He want them gone before we can see with them. Them need have look decency. But this a junker and the rest of junker where they are now. Them a junker without wing. They're very dangerous. See? But anyway, my people, I did 2 hours with you this evening. You can't hear my voice, I'm tired. I drove 200 miles today. I am going to get some rest. My chest is hurting me and my back. I don't know why. You know, so me take a painkiller. I'm going to lie down, you know. And maybe soon in the morning. God spare life. See? So, big up all 321 persons here. Big up all 166 persons that gave me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed. And I will soon in the morning. See? Much love. Much respect. Show our labor rights.